And he says this, just so I tell you that there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. He's saying, do you hear this? Just like you would go after that sheep. This tells us something about our God. And then the story continues, and he tells another version of that. And he basically says there's a woman who has 10 coins, and she's lost one of them. And if she loses them, imagine, if you will, doesn't she go through the house and turn on all the lights and clear off the mail off the counter and dig under the piles that are on the floor, dump out the shopping bags that are hung over the desk chair and look through all the drawers of clothing, dump over the laundry basket and clear off the stuff on the table? Doesn't she search high and low and look everywhere for that coin? She's lost one of her 10. Of course she will. And so he says that she finds it, and together she calls together her friends and neighbors, and again says, rejoice with me, for I have found the coin that I had lost. Just so, says Jesus, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. So whether we're 1%, one of the 100, or 10%, one of the 10, the ratios don't matter. God says, there is no one, no person, no child of mine that's not worth it, that's not worth seeking and searching after and turning over the whole house and chasing to every extreme, even out into the wilderness and leaving behind the other sheep. This is who our God is. This is the character, the God that we worship and that we serve. This is a story of hope that like August, like this 11-year-old little boy, somehow in this life we will never be left alone. We'll never be abandoned. And at the end of our search, surely we will find our parent. Have you ever lost anything of significant worth? Not car keys or your BlackBerry or one of those kinds of things. I know that kind of causes fear in our soul when we lose those things for a while. But have you ever lost anything that is deeply sentimental to you? Something that means so much that you could never replace? Or have you ever been one of those parents standing at the customer service at the grocery store, just nearly in tears and saying, please call my child over the loudspeaker. I can't find them anywhere. Do you remember what it's like to lose something you really desperately love and care for? A thing or a person. Now imagine, if you will, that angst, that desperation, those feelings. Imagine God's feeling like that towards us. It's pretty amazing, really. God is not this far off God who sits somewhere up in heaven and doesn't really care about us and just wants us to come before him and be accounted for our rights and wrongs and check off all the list. No, God is a God who desperately, passionately longs to be with us, to know us, and to be in relationship with us. So the same story where we see August and his mom chasing, desperately trying to find each other. In so many ways, that is so very much like our Christian story. We have a God who seeks after us in this way. If lest we forget that this is not just about each of us, we remember that this is certainly also very much who we are as a congregation. Who we are as Church of the Resurrection is a community that seeks to build a Christian community where non-nominally religious people are becoming deeply committed Christians. Everything we do and the purposes we serve and everything centers on and hangs on our desire to be like Jesus in seeking and chasing and going after the lost, those that are separated from God, those that are alone, those without hope. That's who we are as a congregation. That's why we do the things that we do. That's why we start new campuses. That's why we start new worship services here. That's why we go out in our community and ministry where we serve others and we take our resources beyond the walls here, not only to the community here, but all across this country and even to other countries like Honduras and like Africa. This is why we do these things. Because we have a God who does that with each of us. And we have a God that calls us to do the same for all of those others.